My name is Amina Hassan. I am 34 years old. The events of this story began on March 18th, 2019. That was the day my hidden life was exposed, the day fire brought judgment upon me, and the day my name was marked for death. I was born and raised as a Muslim woman in a strict household. My identity was built for me before I could speak. I was taught obedience before understanding. Faith was not a choice, it was a rule. Questioning was seen as rebellion, and silence was the safest language. I grew up in a large family. My father was respected in our community. My mother was quiet, hardworking, and afraid to displease anyone. From a young age, I learned how to lower my eyes, how to dress, how to walk, and how to obey. As a girl, my worth was measured by honor and silence. I went to school and later attended a local college. I studied basic education and caregiving because those paths were seen as suitable for women. I was intelligent, but my thoughts had limits placed on them. I learned how to memorize, not how to question. I learned how to repeat, not how to search. I married early. Motherhood came quickly. My days were filled with routine, housework, prayer times, caring for children, and pleasing my husband's family. From the outside, my life looked normal and acceptable. Inside, something felt empty, but I did not yet know why. The persecution in my life did not begin with prison or weapons. It began quietly. It lived in control, fear, and constant watching. Every move was judged, every word was measured. Any small mistake brought shame, insults, and sometimes physical punishment. I learned to endure pain without crying because tears were seen as weakness. As a woman, my body did not belong to me. My voice did not belong to me. Even my thoughts felt dangerous. I saw other women beaten for disobedience. I saw girls forced into marriage. I saw fear passed down like inheritance. All of this was called righteousness. That was the world I lived in before the fire, before the arrest, before the execution order. That was who I was before everything changed, and I did not know yet that my suffering was only beginning. Some moments divide life into before and after. One small act can turn a quiet fear into a loud storm. I did not know that a single night would pull me out of hiding and place my neck under the shadow of death. What happened next still shakes my heart because it shows how fast love can turn into hatred when belief is questioned. By the time this chapter began, I was already breaking inside. For many months, I lived two lives. Outside, I looked obedient and calm. Inside, my heart was tired of fear. I had begun to feel that the God I was taught to fear did not see me as a daughter, only as a servant who could be punished at any time. The persecution was no longer only around me, it was inside my home. My husband watched me closely. My movements were questioned. If food was late, I was scolded. If I was silent, I was accused of pride. Sometimes his hand landed on me, and afterward he behaved as if nothing had happened. Pain became normal. Silence became survival. One evening, the house was quiet. The children were asleep. My hands were shaking, not from anger, but from years of pressure. I took the Quran that had ruled my life since childhood. I did not feel joy. I felt sadness, fear, and a strange need to be free. When I burned it, I believed the fire would only touch paper. I did not know it would burn my entire life. The smell reached others before I could hide it. Someone noticed. Someone reported me. Fear spread faster than the fire. Men arrived at the house. They did not ask questions with kindness. They showed me anger with their eyes and strength with their hands. I was pushed, grabbed, and called unclean. My children cried, but no one cared. I was taken away in public. Neighbors watched. Some spat on the ground, others shouted insults. I felt stripped of dignity. My head was uncovered, my body was exposed to shame. At that moment, I understood that mercy had left the room. In detention, persecution became heavier. I was slapped when I was slow. I was kicked when I fell. Food was given late or not at all. Sleep was broken by threats. A woman guard pulled my hair and told me I deserved death. Another person revealed to me that burning the Quran was seen as a crime that must be paid with blood. They showed me papers. I could not read all the words, but I understood the meaning. Execution. My name was written there. My life felt already erased. I was treated as if I was no longer human. Even water was given with insult. At night, alone on the cold floor, I felt pain in my body and terror in my heart. I thought of my children growing up without me. I thought of my mother crying in silence. I thought of dying in shame. The persecution was not only physical, it crushed the mind. It whispered that I was finished. That was the chapter where fire led me to chains, and I did not yet know that the same fire would also light the way to something I had never known before. There is a kind of fear that does not scream. It sits quietly and waits, just like death waits when it already knows your name. Every sunrise felt like a question mark, and every night felt like a goodbye. If you are reading or watching this, please comment where you are connecting from. Let us know your country or city so we can stand together as one family and keep praying for one another. After the arrest, time lost its meaning. I was moved into a small, dark room with hard walls and a cold floor. The air smelled of sweat, fear, and old pain. I was told that I was now waiting. I understood that waiting meant execution. The persecution became deeper and more cruel. I was not treated as a mother or a woman. I was treated as a warning. Guards passed by and stared at me with hatred. Some days they refused to let me wash. Other days they pushed food toward me like I was an animal. Hunger weakened my body, but fear weakened my heart even more. My body carried marks. Bruises turned dark and painful. My wrists hurt from being tied too tight. My back burned from being shoved against walls. When I fell sick, no one cared. They showed me that my life had no value anymore. The worst persecution was in the mind. Silence became loud. At night, screams from other rooms filled the air. I saw women taken out and never returned. Each time footsteps came closer, my heart raced. I believed they had come for me. My breathing became shallow. My hands shook without control. I was told many times that my death would cleanse the community. They revealed to me that my children would be ashamed of my name. They showed me how easily a life could be erased when belief was questioned. Hope felt dangerous, so I tried not to hold it. I remembered my childhood prayers. I remembered fear-based obedience. But now, alone and broken, those memories did not bring peace. I felt empty. I felt unseen. I felt abandoned by everyone I had ever trusted. One night, when my strength was almost gone, something changed inside me. It was not loud, it was gentle. I felt seen for the first time in my life. I felt that someone understood my pain, not as a judge, but as a comforter. I did not know much, but I knew I was no longer completely alone. The cell did not open, the chains did not fall yet, but inside my heart, a small light began to burn. And even though death was still waiting outside the door, hope had quietly stepped into the room. That was the chapter where I waited to die, and it was also the chapter where life slowly began to find me. Some endings do not come with noise or fire. Sometimes the most powerful change happens quietly, in a place where no one is watching and no one believes anything good can still happen. This is the moment where my story should have ended, but instead, it became something I never thought my life could be. I was still in the same locked room. The walls were the same. The pain in my body was still there. The guards still walked past my door. Nothing around me had changed, but something inside me was no longer broken the same way. One morning, I was taken out of the cell. My legs were weak. My hands were tied. I believed this was the day my life would end. As I walked, I remembered my children's faces. My heart felt heavy, but I also felt a strange calm. Fear was still there, but it no longer owned me. I was placed before men who held power over life and death. Their faces were hard. Papers were opened. Accusations were read. My crime was repeated again and again: burning the Quran, leaving the faith, bringing shame. Each word felt like another stone placed on my chest. The persecution continued even there. I was treated as less than human. My pain was not considered. My tears did not matter. They showed me how easy it was for them to end my life and move on with their day. Then something unexpected happened. A delay, a confusion, a message passed from one person to another. I did not understand everything, but I saw tension change in the room. Someone revealed to me later that outside pressure had risen. My case had been noticed. Not everyone agreed with my execution. I was taken back to the cell, still not free, but no longer scheduled to die that day. Days passed, more waiting, more fear, but also more hope. I felt strength that did not come from my body. I felt peace that did not come from my situation. In that dark place, I came to understand love in a new way. Not love that controls, not love that beats or threatens, but love that stays close in pain, love that forgives, love that gives life instead of taking it. Eventually, I was released from the sentence of death. I was not celebrated. I was not welcomed. I was warned to disappear and stay silent. My life after prison was still hard. I lost my home. I lost my marriage. I lost people I loved. Persecution did not end. It only changed shape. But I gained something greater. I gained freedom inside my heart. I gained a new identity. I gained hope that suffering could not destroy. Today, I share this story for those who are still in chains, for mothers like me, for fathers, for young people who are beaten, jailed, rejected, or hunted because of their faith. I encourage Christians across the world to pray for the persecuted, pray for those in prisons, pray for those hiding, pray for those whose names we may never know. Your prayers matter more than you think. And for anyone reading this who feels lost, broken, or burdened by sin, you can turn to Jesus even now. You can admit your need for forgiveness. You can believe that He died and rose again to give you new life. You can ask Him to wash your heart, lead your life, and make you new. Choose to follow Him with sincerity and trust His grace to begin a new journey in you. My story began with fire meant to destroy me. It ended with mercy that gave me life.